Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. We're back and eto na, hihimayin natin ng husto at ng mas kalmado. Yan, alam niyo naman yung ating kaibigang abogado para lang maka-deliver ng initial assessment, analysis doon sa nirelease na immigration levels plan kahapon. Talagang kahit siya ay palipad na, meron siyang flight, he was more than happy to be on that channel while he was literally getting on the plane. But now, ato nakaupo na siya. Mas matutulungan niya na tayong intindihin ng mas mabuti ang immigration levels plan. Ayan. O, nasa Vietnam na siya ngayon, ha? Okay na.
Wala nang masamang tingin sa likod.
Oo nga. Sabi ko, tumitingin na siya sa likod. Sa
Napansin
upuan
ko
niya.
siya nung nag-team replay ako. Sabi ko, ay, oo nga, kaya pala pinutulan ni Ina.
Oo.
Okay.
Oh, but
Tawang-tawa ako.
thank you so much for that, Lua. And by the way, even our viewers who watched the episode, some of them noticed of course, your dedication. Tingnan mo, grabe si attorney, boarding na. Tuloy-tuloy pa din ang interview. Dedication daw. Sabi din, iba ka, attorney Lu. Tingnan. Kasi literal, guys, kung balikan niyo yung episode, nakaupo siya dun sa aeroplano. Tapos yung isa sinabihan pa ako, no? Naintindihan ko naman, syempre, concerned siya sa'yo. Nagbabakasyon ka na nga, ginugulo pa kita.
Hindi, ganun talaga. Unfortunately, there's no rest for the wicked like me. So, kahit nagbakasyon talaga. Actually, hindi naman talaga totoong vacation to. This is more like a working vacation. I'm just like, ito kasing mom ko kasi birthday niya recently and nandito kami pareho sa Asia. So,
Oh.
nagyaya for food trip. Sabi ko nga, pero sulit nga pala ang sarap pala ng totoong pho, I guess, kung pwede natin siyang tawaging totoong pho. And ang mura pala talaga sa Vietnam. Tama yung sinasabi ng mga friends ko.
Yes! Alam mo, my husband will always tell me about, specifically Ho Chi Minh. Sabi niya,
Yes.
sobrang mura, sobrang sarap daw ng food. Well, I've never been there. One day, pupunta rin ako dyan. Okay. Anyway, happy birthday to your mom, of course. O, di ba, bonggang-bongga, nag-crave lang ng
Really.
Vietnamese cuisine. Nilipad agad ni Lu papuntang Saigon. Okay, puntahan natin ang budget. Sige, rewind tayo ng konti. Similar to what we already mentioned in the episode yesterday. I think ang biggest information kung patungkol lang sa immigration ang ating pag-uusapan ay yung significant reduction sa temporary resident admissions for 2026. Ito na po siya, for 2026. Hindi ko pala ma-highlight pag PDF. Ano ba to? So, it's now down
Zoom
to
in mo na lang.
300. Ha? Paano ba
Zoom
to?
in mo na lang.
Yeah, okay. So, it's now down to 385,000 for 2026. Nitong 2025 po kasi, ang tinanggap nila ay 673,650. So, ang tinapyas, 42%. Tapos, andyan yung breakdown po sa ibaba. So, for 2026, workers that will be admitted or issued work permits, 230,000. Students, 155,000 na lang. Yung sa students, ilan ba to initially sinit? Lu, parang sabi nila mga 50% reduction yata or more pa nga eh.
50% reduction ito for 2026 compared to 2025. Pero I think what's important to highlight here, Ina, is even if yung sinet nilang target for 2025 is significantly lower than the prior year of 2024, in 2025, hindi nga na-hit yung target number. In other words, mas mababa yung actual na nag-arrive as international students. So, sumutotal neto is, parang kung talagang nag-aim tayong ibaba, edi maganda. So, in the policy world kasi, alam mo yun, Ina, di ba nag-cover ka ng budget before? Kapag ka yung binigay sa'yo na budget, hindi mo inubos, the next year may hirapan kang kumuha ng same budget or mas
Yeah.
mataas. Usually, ang mangyayari sa'yo, ibababa. So, in 2026, hindi, kung titignan mo yun from that particular perspective, hindi nakakagulat na binaba nila yung number for international students for 2026 dahil hindi nga na-consume yung
Yeah.
allocation for 2025.
I get it. Parang ano 'no, talagang nag-wane down significantly to begin with yung interest sa international student program because of the policy changes. So talagang hindi niya na kailangan pang i-retain man lang yung, quota 'no, talagang
Correct.
binawasan na lang nila. I think that's
Oo.
it.
And as we
Oo.
talked about yesterday, 'di ba, hindi naman ito ibig sabihin na paalisin yung mga international students na nasa Canada kaagad. Ang ibig
Mhm.
sabihin nito yung front load, hindi sila mag-i-issue ng provincial attestation or territorial attestation letters na kung saan pwede ka mag-apply ng study permit for post-secondary purposes. So, very interesting yung development. Binabaan lang nila yung allocation. So, minatch lang nila with reality. Pero
Yeah.
if titignan mo siya, kung medyo madumi tayong mag-isip from a political perspective,
Oh.
parang low-hanging fruit na claim ko na to as victory ko, 'di ba? Bababa ko
Na
to, 'di
parang
ba gusto niyo ibaba ko yung number, 'di ba? Bababa ko to. So, ang gandang tignan from a political perspective kung madumi tayo mag-isip.
oh, tama, makes sense. I agree. Likely, no? That was also one factor that they considered. O sige, bawasan na natin yan. When in fact, talagang, ano naman, yun naman talaga ang reality nga naman. No one is interested, so might as well just reduce it.
Exactly.
Matutuwa pa yung mga tao pag nakita na ng
Exactly.
at kanilang binawas. Okay. Now, for workers, etong 230,000, ano ba to? What does this mean for those who are still aspiring, to move here to work? Is this
Right.
a good number compared to before? Ano ang aasahan nila pag ganitong 230,000?
That's very interesting kasi ang theory ko dito twofold. Number one, pansinin ninyo na yung workers, hindi nila break down between temporary foreign worker program, yung favorite topic natin,
Okay.
versus the international mobility program. Why is this important? This is the
Okay.
second fold. Kasi yung mga PGWP holders, yung mga SOWP ng PGWPs, and SOWP ng mga skilled workers, yung mga C41 and C47, dun po sila sa International Mobility Program,
Oh.
hindi po sila sa TFW. So kung titignan natin itong number na to na 230, compared to the seismic shift for students na sobrang laki ng binaba, kung magganyan pa rin yung numbers ng workers, malamang nakafocus sila sa TFW. Kasi if you think about it as well, kung ibababa mo yung number ng international students, yung number ng mga magiging eligible for C43 or postgrad work permits ay significantly bababa din. So,
Oo.
yung demand bababa. So, in other words, hindi na nakakagulat na hindi masyadong gumalaw yung numbers for workers, lalo na kung hindi nila i-disaggregate yan. So, medyo nagtatago sila dun sa framing ng statistics nila. Kung talagang honest sila dito, dapat breakdown nila to between TFW and IMP.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Ito, do you think the provinces, or I think my question is more applicable dun sa PR,
Mhm.
data. Sige, puntahan nga muna natin tong
Sige,
PR naman. Yan.
shift tayo.
Yan. Okay, wait. I think I have to zoom it out a little.
Sure.
Permanent resident admissions. Okay. Ito, slightly changed. Down by 15%, by 15,000.
Right.
Yung quota na ngayon nila for 2026. Initially, ba't ito na-highlight ko? Okay. Initially, ng 2026, it was 395,000. Now, binaba nila to 380. Okay, what does this mean sa mga kababayan natin? Ito ang malaking issue naman, yung mga nandito na. Hindi pa rin na PPR, still working on it. So next year, what does this mean for them? What does this mean for the climate, no, of yung struggle for PR?
Oh, Ina, quickly lang may share ako sa iyo na
Okay.
file. If you can also just share that. Ngayon na nakita na natin itong part ng report, gusto ko kasing tignan yung historical tsaka yung projection.
Sure. Sige,
I shared this to you earlier, pero yan, share natin ulit.
Let me see. Sige. Saan mo sinend?
Sa Facebook.
Oh, here. Okay, hold on, guys. Yeah.
Sorry on the spot.
No worries. Okay, guys, ano to, numbers. So, what happened?
Hindi siya nag-launch.
Okay, ano ba yan? Hold on.
Sorry.
No.
Do you want me
Yeah.
to just share it on my end?
No, it's here, it's here.
Sige na.
Okay, there you go.
Perfect. Yan. So,
Mm,
yung sinasabi mong 380,000 to kind of ground yung mga kausap natin dito, yung 2026. Ito po yung
yan.
mga nasa gray ano na column dun sa kanan,
Mhm.
2026. 380,000. Kung titignan ninyo, yung projections for 26, 27, 28, frozen basically yung
Yeah.
permanent residence at that level. Pero tignan ninyo, saan ba gumagalaw? Dun sa distribution kung saan yung economic, saan yung family, saan yung refugee humanitarian. So, a couple of things to note here. Kung titignan ninyo yung refugee humanitarian, hindi nila disaggregate for 26, 27, 28 compared to prior years. So, that's
Yung
very
sa
interesting. And I think
humanitarian, okay, yeah.
Oo, and I think this will be very important when we talk about yung, mga annotations, yung mga notes dun sa,
Mhm.
budget, 'di ba? Ta's kung titignan ninyo naman yung absolute number sa taas, yung overall, kung iko-compare ninyo sa proportion, tignan ninyo just from 26 to 28, 63 to 64%. Pero ang totoong story dito is kung babalik tayo ng 2022, yung share ng economic immigration is 56% from 2022, 57 the next year, 58% 2024. In 2025, it was 59%.
Mhm.
Pataas po tayo ng pataas ng proportion na papunta sa economic. Meanwhile, pababa po ng pababa for family as well as for refugee humanitarian. So, this is interesting. To your question, anong impact netong numbers na in-announce sa PR levels sa ating mga kababayan na umaasa sa mga programs? And I think yung pinaka mas breakdown pa dito ng question, kasi yung flagship program, 'di ba, yung express entry. So,
Yeah.
paano yung mga provincial nomination? Ito nga yung number na hinaabangan natin on the 4th of November, 'di ba?
Okay.
Ano ba yung magiging impact ng announcements sa provincial nomination? Sadly, binibigyan ulit tayo ng striptease dito ng government.
Mm.
I will tell you why. Because in 2024, when they released the levels plan, meron po tayong breakdown ng levels plan for economic, federal, federal high priority, provincial nomination, Quebec skilled workers, and all the other special programs,
Yeah.
including agri-food program, caregiver. This year, wala po tayong breakdown. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Sorry, medyo nagpupunta
Go.
na ako sa meta-narrative nila.
Sige lang.
Kung titignan ninyo yung notes doon sa budget announcement, sinabi nila na binibigyan nila yung sarili nila ng allowance for shocks. Kasama na dito yung sa tariff war, kasama na dito yung pag-transition ng mga temporary residents in Canada na nagbibigay ng konting glimmer of hope ang government na ita-transition daw ang about 33,000 temporary residents in Canada into permanent residents. So may mga umiikot at umuugong-ugong na mga rumors ngayon sa Twitter or sa X
Mhm.
or sa kung saan pa mang platform na, "Huy, may bago na naman bang TR to PR program?" 'Di ba? Naalala ba natin yun
Eto
noong
yan, eh, eto
2020?
yan. Let me show you. I have it,
Hmm,
I think it's
this one.
yan. This is
Oo,
a screen grab from the budget, hinighlight ko po yan. Ang sabi
saktong-sakto.
dito, oh, there will be a one-time measure to accelerate the transition of up to 33,000 work permit holders to PR in 2026 and 2027. Ano to? Regularization program? Ano
No, I
ito?
don't think it's a
Okay.
regularization program,
Talagang
it's a
may
transition
status naman
program.
to, no? Oo.
Oo, ang ita-transition nila yung mga TR to PR para hindi sila magiging problem for enforcement. And on the other hand, ito yung mga temporary resident na pwede nilang i-design yung program in such a way na maka-capture yung mga high priority occupations ulit. And this kind of goes back to my point about the breakdown of the proportions and the programs under the levels plan. Di kagaya ng
Mm.
2025 release na merong breakdown sa economic, within economic, ng PNP, special federal programs, etc., etc. Yung sa budget this year, wala.
Oh,
Silent sila. 'Di ba? So
oo.
bakit? So ibig sabihin, gusto nila maglaro ng mahjong.
Naku po.
Sorry.
Oh,
'Di
but
ba
ano,
yeah, yun yung tiles, iikot-ikutin nila yan. So, kukunin nila yung mga barahan nila kung saan talaga siya appropriate according to the time.
that
According
would
to
be
the
unfair then for some of the provinces. Kasi yung mga provinces, they
Oh, yeah.
adjust their quotas. on the federal plan, right?
Which brings me to your earlier point prior to us recording this
Mm.
episode, Ina. Let's talk about OINP. Ano yung binigay nilang power sa sarili nila?
To cancel, mga applications, mga gano'n, oo.
Correct. So, ang ginawa ng Ontario nga dito is, kasi halimbawa, si Ontario, nagbigay sila ng, ng allocation for their program ng 10,000 potential invitations for 2026. Tapos biglang, all of a sudden, sasabihin ng federal government, sorry, no can do. I can only give you 1,000 for the year. So, ano
Oo.
mangyayari dun sa 9,000? 'Di ba? So,
Oo.
ang mangyayari nito, magkakaroon ng matinding backlog ang Ontario na aabutin sila ng 10 taon para i-clear. Ano 'yun, 'di ba? So, si Ontario, ang response niya, "O sige, kung ganyan tayo, edi kung ganyan ang ginagawa ninyo, ganyan din gagawin namin." So, is it
Pinangunahan
is
na bale ng OINP.
yeah,
Oo.
exactly. Gano'n na nga siya.
I see. Okay, but for transparency's sake, no, guys, Lou and I are recording this episode 8 in the morning EST. At
Right.
11 EST, meron pa po kasing technical media briefing yung IRCC to discuss nga tong immigration levels ban. I don't know if it will be brought up there. Who knows? We might be surprised biglang, ay, may breakdown pala. If there
Yeah,
is going to be a breakdown, then we will have an episode on it later on. Okay? Kasi hindi pa natin
absolutely. So,
tapos
follow up
yan.
ulit. Yeah.
Oo, at 11. But yeah, interesting yun, no? Actually, isa sa mga hinanap ko nga, sabi ko, paano yung caregiver program hinanap ko? Walang
Wala, 'di
data.
ba?
Dati kasi meron.
'Yun.
Naka-divide pa yan kung ilan yung tatanggapin from outside and inside applicant. Mga ganon.
Correct, correct.
Okay. So, okay, what happens to the struggle for PR, Lou? It's still gonna be the same. It's still gonna be competitive. Is that what you're saying?
Largely, oo. Pero kung
Okay,
babalikan mo yung levels plan table, if you don't mind shifting back to that
sure.
one, meron isang note dun na klaro na
Mm,
dinisclose kaagad nila. Yung sa bottom mo, ano ba sinasabi dito? French-speaking admissions outside of Quebec overall. Isn't that interesting? Absolute numbers and proportion, pataas ang pataas. And in this channel, we've been saying talaga na French is going to be a mainstay of the program. Kasi ang
correct.
daming critics nito eh. Sabi, and wala naman silang, ano tawag dito, hindi naman sila without a point. May points
Mm,
sila na, teka, ano nangyayari doon sa need natin for healthcare, etc. Bakit inuuna yung mga French speakers? We're not saying it's wrong. We're not saying it's right. We're just saying that this is what the government chose because
yeah.
it is a legislated policy choice of government from the late 80s, early 90s pa. Ngayon lang ini-implement. And given the political composition of parliament, Ina, siguro tingnan natin ulit yung maduming pag-iisip ni Attorney Liu. Ano ba yung nangyayari sa
Oh,
politika?
malikot na
Malikot.
pag-iisip.
Malikot,
Yan.
tama. Malikot na lang, tama, tama. So kung malikot yung pag-iisip ko, minority government sila, bakit bibigyan ng bala yung
Mm,
isang opposition party na very strong on defending francophone rights? Na sinasabi ng Liberal Party na sila ay champions of bilingualism in Canada. So kailangan panindigan nila yan, di ba? Eh
oo.
napaka-important constituency ng Liberal Party ang kanilang mga Quebec constituencies dahil sila nagbalik sa kanila sa power. Kung titignan ninyo yung mga seats nila nangulelat ang Bloc Québécois sa
Mhm.
Quebec. Nangalahati yung numbers nila napunta sa Liberals, yung
Oo nga.
mga seats nila. Kaya near majority sila, di ba? Pero yun
Yeah.
din, as of recording, wala pang nangyayari dun sa budget, wala pang nangyayaring botohan. Pero kasi sa Canada, no, konting civica muna tayo. Kapag na-defeat kasi tong budget sa parliament,
Mhm.
ito ay isang confidence motion de facto. So ang ibig sabihin nito, automatic dissolve ang government. So kailangan magtawag rather ng bagong eleksyon ang ang gobyerno ng
Oo.
Canada. So very interesting times.
Yeah.
So yeah, yung numbers ng francophone andyan pa rin at pataas siya ng pataas.
Oo. So we'll see if this increase in the francophone ano ba 'to, PR allocations,
Correct.
will be enough to appease, ayan, enough people diyaan. Okay. So you can see guys maliban sa ma-manage ng mga immigration numbers to satisfy public, concerns or sentiments, whether we like to admit it or not. may ano din eh, political factors at play sa
Oh, yes.
pag-a-adjust ng numbers na ito. Okay. O sige, nandito na. Okay na tayo sa bilang ng TR at PR. Ay, sorry, Lu, no? Marami nakaabang
Right.
dito sa mga Pilipino, kababayan natin.
Go.
Family
Ay,
reunification. Siyempre, sponsorships. Ano, sino ba cover dito? Kapag family
diba?
reunification. And
Spouse, common
malaki
care.
ba itong 84,000?
Well,
Mm.
2026, babalikan ko lang yung table natin na since 2022. Nung 2022, number for family was 105,000.
Oh,
Tapos
oh.
2024, 114,000. 2025, bumagsak siya by 20,000 to 94,000. 2026, bumagsak siya lalo to 84,000. So 27 and 28, babagsak pa siya ulit to
Ano?
81,000. So ano ibig sabihin nito? Ang ibig sabihin nito, dalawa. Ibig sabihin, malabong magkaroon ng bagong mga invitations para sa parent na kasing dami nung before. So that's
Na,
number one. Kasi
okay.
halos maubos na rin yung pool na ginagamit nila since 2021. For those who are following the parent-grandparent sponsorship program, matagal na pong hindi pwedeng pumasok doon sa pool for sponsorship dahil hindi binubuksan ng Government of Canada.
Yeah.
Bunot lang sila ng bunot from the same bag. 'Di ba?
Mhm.
So that's number one. Number two, ano ba ibig sabihin nito ng impact nito for processing? So dalawang sub-aspect yan. The first aspect is, well, hindi magka-crowd dahil konti lang yung mga invitations na i-issue nila. Pero hindi naman makokontrol ng Canada yung number of applicants for those who will opt for sponsorship of their spouse or common law
Yeah.
partner. Kidding aside, pero kidding na rin.
Oo.
Paano yung mga nag-AFAM pathway, di ba? So, kung,
Eh,
di ba, hindi, seryosong usapan, di
yeah,
ba?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. You
syempre,
think
hindi
it
mo
will be
naman
affected too?
Yes, potentially. So kung
Oo
titignan
nga.
ninyo yung processing times ng sponsorships from inside Canada versus outside Canada, depending on the country of application, of course, malaki yung gulf, malaki yung difference. I think we're looking at like 2 years or 3 years na ata for inside Canada last I checked versus sa Manila, for example. Last
Oh
I
no.
checked, it was just over a year.
Okay.
So may option ka dito, endure a little bit of hardship of separation, and then
Oo.
potentially mas mabilis yung processing from Manila. Or
Oh.
sa Canada ka maghintay na
Mm,
potentially ang bagal bago makarating ka mismo sa acknowledgement of receipt stage, 'di ba?
I see. So
So
kapag
yeah,
ganito kunyari ma hindi ma-process yung application mo for family reunification, like
mhm,
spousal sponsorship para
mhm.
sa atin lang 'tong nagtatawag ng AFAM pathway, guys, ha. Okay,
Sorry, yeah.
pero I would like to believe tunay na pag-ibig naman
Oo,
'yan,
oo naman.
okay?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay, 'pag ganyang hindi sila ma-process, anong option nila apart from being long distance relationship? They have to wait several years and then just wait, yun lang ba
They
yun?
really do have to wait. Ngayon kung talagang hindi na makatarungan yung wait at labas na siya sa normal processing times, meron kasi mga gano'n. Meron po
Hmm,
tayong mga ino-observe na standards for potential application at the court, sa federal court for a writ of mandamus. Pero yun nga, hindi naman lahat may budget para demandahan, 'di ba, sa korte, una sa
oh,
lahat. Pangalawa, yung korte rin mismo backlogged.
oo.
So, ang hirap din. 25% of current caseloads sa federal court according to Justice Diner actually. Sino ba yung viewer mo na kilala si Justice Alan Diner?
Si Jack
Sa
Vargas, oy matutuwa yun, hi
yes.
Jack.
Sabi ni Justice Diner, 25% of cases at the federal court right now are mandamus applications. And
Mm,
yeah, so that tells you na talaga ang tindi ng mga delays. Yun yung kaisa-isang remedy. The other
yeah,
way is, potentially, kung talagang magtsatsaga kayo na maghihintay within Canada, nasa Canada na kayang maghintay, kaya namang suportahan isa't isa, hintayin nyo hanggang makakuha ng in Canada spousal open work permit. Pero
oh,
matagal yun. Matagal
oh.
talaga siya ngayon.
Okay, oh, now let's move on ano, to the other immigration-related parang plans mentioned in
Mhm.
the budget, na sabi ko na 'to kanina 'no,
Yes.
merong nakasulat na ganito, mukhang TR to PR program. Sorry Lu, but what different anong pagkakaiba nito sa work permit holders na pwede
Hmm,
namang mag-apply, let's say, sa yung mga PNP or whatever, qualified naman sila sa certain PR stream.
right.
Difference nito,
Wait, remind me again, Ina, anong year ka dumating sa Canada? Pandemic years yun, ano?
pandemic 2020.
Oh, 2020. Wow. Kasi
Oo,
nung 2021, nag-announce ng program itong Government of Canada. Ang Minister of Immigration then was Marco Mendicino. And I distinctly remember his office reaching out to us immigration lawyers, asking for suggestions on how to transition. Kasi yung challenge nun, sarado ang immigration. And how do they meet the targets for immigration? Um, Kasi nga hindi maka-travel ang mga tao to
oo.
Canada. So, ang naging natural source nila is yung mga nasa Canada na. Tapos anong ginawa nila, nag-double down sila under express entry. Yung unang ginawa nila, just to fill up the inventory for 2021, um, nag-draw sila under express entry, over 20,000 invitations to apply, I believe, if I'm not
So if
mistaken.
this 33,000 number mentioned here, nagagawa nila ng one-time measure to accelerate, covered pa
Uh-huh.
rin 'to dun sa 380 na quota. Hindi 'to special number or separate from it.
Alam mo, the devil is in the details. Puwedeng
Oo.
gano'n, pero puwedeng parte rin ilagay nila dun sa humanitarian, refugee. Kasi depende, eh. Kasi baka
Oo.
may certain section nitong programa 'to na naka-allocate for Ukrainians and Hong Kong residents, 'di ba, na hindi
Oo.
makauwi. Yun yung
Oo.
isa sa malaking concerns. I think Nicholas Kong from the Toronto Star wrote about it the other day na nag-commit ang Canada na bibigyan ng refuge itong mga tao na 'to, tapos wala silang certainty of, ability to stay. So ang daming mga Hong Kong
Oh.
residents na anong tawag dito, nagsisisi kasi may binigay na program ang United Kingdom for British nationals overseas, BNOs,
Hmm,
na they could essentially have the right to settle in the UK. So, pero
mhm.
yung iba pinili nila Canada because of ties, ta's parang, alam mo yun, parang nagkakaroon ng bad aftertaste. So, maraming politika dito
Okey.
na puwedeng gawin nila, ipasok nila under humanitarian, puwede rin naman nila ipasok sa PR. Again, this is why it fuels my suspicion talaga na aking malikot na imagination,
Mm.
bakit ba walang breakdown? Kasi binibigyan nila
Oo.
yung sarili nila ng margin to move.
Alright, okey. So abangan natin 'to, kung ano 'tong
Can
one-time
I just
measure
make
nito.
one
Oh,
point about this?
go.
Kasi yun nga, yung kumakalat na rumors ngayon is TR to PR pathway daw.
Oh,
So, while maraming magbe-benefit talaga kung gano'n, and I'm not saying that it's the wrong approach, I'm not saying it's the right approach.
mhm.
Wag tayong ano, parang dahan-dahang magpadala sa mga rumor mills on the internet. Yun siguro yung
Alright.
maibibigay kong general advice in life about this. Kasi hindi natin alam if that is the case, kung gagawin nilang TR to PR pathway or na kagaya nung 2021, or it could be na puwede rin nilang ulitin yung express entry na deep, deep draw, na bumaba yung score cut-off.
Ay,
ITA was, the CRS cut-off score was 75.
okey.
Ano, naalala ko yun, eh, kasi Sabado yun ng umaga pagbukas ko ng computer nun sabi ko, bakit 74 cutoff? This must be a glitch."
Ah,
So, punta ako sa listserv, yung email listserv ng mga immigration lawyers. Tapos, minessage namin yung president ng ano, ng, immigration law section to get in touch with with yung staff nga sa minister's office na turns out it's not a glitch. So, confirmed. So, hindi lang siya confirmed, confirmed. So, ako
yeah.
naman nung time na yun, nagta-try ako noon, nag-e-experiment ako with YouTube. May channel ako nun dati, so hanapin niyo na lang. Um,
Oh,
may
sige,
may
hanapin ko talaga.
ginawang video. Ako ata yung pinaka-naunang naglabas ng video nun, kaya ako yung pinakamaraming views on the
Hmm,
TR to PR pathway at the time. Tapos
oh,
hindi ko na na-follow through, 'di ba? So, hindi ko na tinuloy yung aking YouTube rising
ay
star career. But in all seriousness, yun nga, sobrang ano, sobrang biglaan talaga yun at, yung lumabas yung express entry na yun, alam na namin na may susunod pa kasi hindi pa nila nakumpleto yung quota for 2021. So this way, as you know, going back to this 33,000 in the budget, binibigyan nila yung sarili nila ng allowance to do that. It hits so many birds with one stone, Ina. If you
alright.
think at it from a policy perspective kasi, paano ba natin i-encourage, ire-retain yung good talent doon na kailangan natin sa pool of temporary residents in Canada? na makakatulong sa economy, but at the same time, prevents us from creating misery in the system and
Yeah.
preserves integrity. But on the other hand, um, paano natin 'to gagawin na binababa natin yung number? So, it's a lot of framing. A
Mhm.
lot of framing and narrative, sorry to say this, spinning.
Yan, okay. At since nandito tayo sa issue pa rin naman nung naka-work permits, meron din akong, ni-lift from the budget. I think, this will address questions about what could happen to the TFW program. O,
Hmm.
nakasulat, teka tanggalin ko 'tong headline natin para makita yung buo. OMG, hold on guys. Yan, okay.
Hmm.
So the government recognizes the role of TFWs, the role TFWs play in some sectors. To that end, the 2026-2028 Levels Plan will consider industries and sectors impacted by tariffs and the unique needs of rural and remote communities. Okay, at least what is clear to me, guys, the TFW program will stay. Okay, sa gitna ng mga panawagan na scrap o what, but
Mhm.
definitely I think there might be some changes sa implementation nito. What do you make of that part, yung in-upload ko, Lou?
The way I read it is that they set a number for the levels plan for temporary residents, but they also recognize that this number is malleable depending on the circumstances of the economy, including but not limited to the tariff wars that are going on. The world is
Oh,
changing. 'Di ba? Nabanggit natin nung nag-live tayo. So, gusto ng government of Canada, they have the necessary levers and buttons to be able to pull and press kung sakaling may problema. Kumbaga, binibigyan nila sarili nila ng break glass in case of emergency.
yeah.
So kung kailangan nilang itaas yung number, pwede. Kung kailangan nilang ibaba pa lalo, pwede. And nire-recognize sila, tip of the hat, 'di ba? Nagha-hat tip sila na, "Huy, meron tayong program dito for temporary foreign workers at hindi natin kakalimutan yung mga rural communities and
Yeah.
remote communities," 'di ba? So, it's a
Oh,
recognition lang.
sa tuloy-tuloy lang, no, siguro the rural immigration programs will, yeah, diyan pa din yan. Okay,
Mhm.
another one-time measure na nakita dun sa budget, no? Kung kanina, work permits to PR, eto, may nakasulat na ganito. Budget
Mhm.
2025 proposes a one-time initiative to recognize eligible, ano to, yung protected persons in Canada. These are, eto na, mainit na usapin din to, yung mga asylum claimants or refugees as permanent residents over the next 2 years. One-time initiative. Ano kaya mangyayari dito, Lu? Mabilis na magiging PR na yung mga refugee status na dito?
Hmm. Puwede kasi sila mag-create ng mga special pathways for certain types of asylum seekers who have been granted protected status in Canada,
Okay.
na mas mabilis sila makakuha ng PR. And it's one way to actually encourage people, um, how do I put this? To encourage people to make their claims properly. So that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is kung malikot na naman ang aking imagination, pupuwede nating sabihin na, o before pa siya maging problema, try na natin silang i-regularize, 'di ba? So ang question
Okay.
dito, kasi yan na nabanggit ko na yung big bad R word, regularization, 'di ba?
Ah,
Um, Regularization program ba 'to talaga? Hindi natin alam until makita natin kung sino ba yung pinag-uusapan natin. Kasi sabi
yeah.
mo kanina, asylum seekers, refugee claimants. Paano kung itong mga tinatawag nilang protected persons na 'to, ito pala is yung mga freedom fighters or defenders of
Nako.
human rights.
Mhm,
May
mhm.
program kasi ang government of Canada for, journalists, for example, escaping regimes, for
Hmm.
example, na very repressive. Although maliit lang naman siya, puwede naman nilang i-expand 'yan, for example. Puwede rin naman natin sabihin na yung mga Hong Kong residents na napag-usapan natin kanina, na ang tagal na sa Canada, napa-expire na ang kanilang work permits, let's regularize them. And, titignan natin 'to actually from the lens of, sino ba kasi yung mga Hong Kong residents na 'to? Kasi kung
Oo.
itong mga residents na 'to, mga super highly educated, na pasok dun sa mga STEM pathways na tutulong dun sa overall strategy ng Carney government to take advantage of what's been billed as the fourth industrial revolution through artificial intelligence. Bakit nga naman hindi? 'Di ba? So
Alright.
yun yung isang punto diyan. Isa pang punto, yung mga global security arrangements and commitments of Canada. What about the Ukrainians who were given open work permits in Canada? Na hindi naman sila refugees, technically.
Mhm.
Nor are they protected persons, not yet at least. Kasi
Yeah.
ang problema dito sa language na 'to, sobrang fluffy pa rin niya. May
Mhm.
konting specifics pero hindi niya binibigay yung totoong specific legally speaking so that we can actually define who this is. So, all will
Hmm.
be revealed hopefully at 11 AM after
Oo.
our recording, or they could do another striptease kasi. Yun yung problema, binibigyan tayo ng breadcrumbs. So,
Correct.
pinaglalaro nila yung imaginations natin. And all I can say here, my final point on this, is that we don't know until they actually make more announcements about
Yeah.
this. It's
Oo.
hard to say. It's really hard to say.
Correct. Guys, you
Sorry.
have to remember itong immigration levels plan. Kumbaga jump off point lang 'to of policy announcements to come, 'di ba? Ito ang pagbabatayan. So marami pang magaganap, okay, in the coming months, I'm sure. I think all I can say about this refugee, itong sinasabi nilang initiative, ayan, to make them PR over the next 2 years. I think on social media, this is getting a lot of, ano ba, in a
Traction.
way, maraming tumataas ang kilay dyan. Kasi nga, there is a problem, a concern of how does IRCC know which claimants or refugees are here talaga on genuine grounds. Okay? Kasi nga, isa po yan sa streams na talagang sinasabi, pinaniniwalaan na medyo kumbaga na manipula o ginagamit, inaabuso. So I just
Yeah.
hope they assess these people, properly. Okay.
Mhm.
O sige, nasan pa ba tayo? Naku guys, konti na lang to baka sabihin nila
Oo.
masyado pang deep ang conversation ninyo, Lu at Ina, no?
Oo nga eh.
Pasensya na kayo. Okay, ito pa. For those naman in the US, no, I think. The government will launch an accelerated pathway for H-1B visa holders. Nabanggit mo to, Lu, in fairness, kahapon, doon sa mabilisan nating episode. So mukhang may sila, no? Intention to take advantage of what's happening in the US, right? Kasi
Mhm.
po, yung H-1B visa, biglang pinatawan, etong visa holders na yan in the US, paano
Ended.
ba, yeah, suspended ba? Or pinatawan lang ng extra fee to remain?
Pinatawan ng extra fee, but like, let's be real, like yung ganong kalaking fee, it's a practical
100,000.
suspension. It's a practical
Oo.
suspension for a lot of companies. They're not gonna foot the bill for $100,000
Yeah,
for let's say 10 workers na paano kung small-sized startup ka, 'di ba? Hindi naman
correct.
potentially pwede yan. So,
Usually, Lou, what types of workers get HB1 visas in the US?
highly skilled individuals talaga.
Okay.
And if, you know, if we would go by the way that Canada tried to do this the last time, they were trying to target Silicon Valley workers.
All right.
So people working in tech. I'm not really surprised that they put this here. Again, it goes back to the point about the Carney government being a big believer in the thing that's billed as the fourth industrial revolution through artificial intelligence. Na kung nasa isang arms race tayo for artificial intelligence, we need brain power to do this.
Yeah. Okay. So, ayun, no? Isa po yan. We'll see if it works. What do you call it again? Launch an accelerated pathway. Okay. Kung mag-take advantage. Ang tanong dyan, no? Gusto ko yan ng mga high-skilled workers na ito. Usually, I think in IT nga,
Mm.
manirahan sa Canada. 'Di ba?
Mhm. Right.
Okay, and lastly, speaking of, dahil sinasabi mo na nga na kailangan ng mga matatalino, okay, if we're heading towards the AI generation, meron ding
Mm.
nakasaad sa budget, recruiting international talent. Ito
Mhm.
as an early measure, so siguro
Mhm.
soon to i-announce. The government proposes a targeted one-time initiative. Puro one-time initiative, Lu, no?
Mhm.
To recruit over 1,000 highly qualified international researchers to Canada. What does
Mhm.
this mean? Baka meron tayong mga researchers, scientists back in the
Mhm.
Philippines who are more than willing to move to Canada in the coming years? How can they take advantage of this? Ano kaya ito?
Legally, they can't stop people from the Philippines trying to do that or people from any
Mm.
other country.
Yeah,
But let's be real, the people that they're targeting for this program is the massive brain drain coming from the United States.
yun pa din, yung parang
Yun pa
HB1.
din. Yes. So
Understood.
say instead of H-1B tech workers, you're looking at workers or researchers in, think tanks, government. Kasi tandaan mo, ang dami ng cuts sa government, sa federal government ng US.
Mhm.
Um, on top of that, like Ivy League universities, for example, in the US, ang dami sa kanila lumilipat ng ibang bansa sa Europe. Some of them moving to Canada. So if they're going to do a pilot of 1,000, then they're really trying to get the cream of the cream here in terms
Okay.
of researchers. So strategic siya. Also, I will say this is within the parameters of the programming for the former Bank of England and the former governor of Bank of Canada. So yeah, not
Yeah.
surprised with this move at all.
Alright. Okay. Guys, yung mga screen grab ko, I think these are just the main, ano ba 'to, or notable programs na makikita natin dun sa budget na related sa immigration. Siguro in
Mhm.
closing na lang, Lu, 'no? Okay, alam mo this early, I'm seeing reactions on social media na parang, alam mo kung tutuusin malaki pa din, sabi nila,
Mhm.
nagbawas, pero it's still a big chunk of people na
Mhm.
tatanggapin ng Canada in total. Yun na nga 'no,
Yeah,
ilan ba, 300 plus thousand. Okay,
yeah,
new
absolutely.
temporary residents and then another, 300 plus again na new PRs,
Correct.
parang um, the message is parang hindi pa rin naman talaga sarado, no? Let's just put it out there ang Canada. It is
Mhm.
more difficult today to, become permanent residents if that is your
Right.
goal. But there is still room and you still have to prepare and yeah, to
Oh yeah.
boost your chances. And ano ba yung sasabihin kong isa pa? Nakalimutan ko na. Ito pala. Solusyon ba ito palagay mo, Lu, sa pagbabawas na nangyari? 2026, 27, 2028, luluwag-luwag, let's say, ang healthcare. Magmumura ang presyo ng bahay. Kasi yan naman ang isa sa mga kino-complain ng mga taga dito, Lu. Is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
a solution, do you think,
Which
or heading towards that direction?
and we're not taking away from that, diba? I think
Yeah.
as fellow people who understand yung crisis sa cost of living, crisis sa housing, crisis sa healthcare, naiintindihan natin kung saan nanggagaling itong mga reklamo na ito, itong mga criticism na ito. Pero at the same time, wag din natin kakalimutan that some of these foreign skilled workers who are coming to Canada are people who actually also bring the solutions. They could be
Mm.
your next nurse. They could be your next doctor or dentist. They could be the tradesperson creating opportunities for construction to move forward. 'Di ba?
Mhm.
We're not saying that all immigrants are doing that. But at the same time, hindi kasi siya pwedeng i-shut down. So, fair yung criticism na malaki pa rin yung number. But at the same time, we have to let the experts do the expert work.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of like trust issues that are going against like the current government, and rightly so naman, deserve naman talaga because we are in this mess. I agree with that. But at the same time, there are good people working in government, in my opinion, who are doing their level best to actually come out with policy to turn, or at least do their best and try to turn a bad situation into something that is workable. One final thought here is that before it gets better, the darkest part of night is always the part where it's coming up to day, 'di ba?
Mhm.
Nakalimutan ko yung exact saying for that, so medyo nawala yung poetic delivery ko dun. Pero yung punto ko dito is like, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Kasi
Mhm.
hindi man naman overnight may expel yung 2.3 million temporary residents.
Yeah.
And if you do that, that will collapse the labor market in Canada as well. Hindi
Yeah.
naman pwede yung mga ganong shocks. It's tantamount to getting a revolver and shooting yourself on your own foot.
Yan.
It's not what you want to do with our economy, especially at this time. Look at
Alright.
what's happening in the US.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, guys, on that point, we will end this episode here. Lou, thank you so much, as always, no, for being a very good explainer. Clear. Maraming salamat. I'm sure
Salamat
mas
po.
ng ating viewers kung ano ba ang silbi nitong new immigration levels plan. Lou's email is the one that's been down there crawling this entire episode. So if you wanna shoot him an email, book a consult, yeah, you can get in touch with him there. Okay, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks, Lou. Bye.